Alright guys, welcome to another episode, and we got our stain that we did last episode. Stained pieces here that we did. That's the trim for the cabinet upstairs on the fly bridge, and these are the stairs for the ladder. This here is the fishing rod holder. So what we're going to do is use some of this Mini Wax Helmsman indoor-outdoor urethane, as opposed to what I used before, which looked really nice, but it won't hold up to the weather. I didn't realize it was the indoor type polyurethane, so this piece is going to be redone. But all these pieces here should look very similar to this when finished. I've already hit them with some acetone just to get any of the oil off from my fingers from handling the pieces. And now we're going to hit it with some urethane. Move this out of the way so you can see. Yeah, that's going to look nice. See, all nice and wet. Actually, you should probably put it on a little thin to start, just depends. But I'm no professional by any means. I'm learning as I go. Several coats of this stuff. A little bit of sanding in between, and that can make it look like glass. That is what I'm going to try to do on the interior. The exterior, I'm not going to worry so much about making it look like glass, but it is going to be nice and shiny and have a nice finish nonetheless. Well, maybe a little less. So, from what I've been told, after you get this nice and wet, let it set up just a little bit, and we'll come through it with a brush, and they call it I forget what, cutting? I don't know what they call it, I forget. But basically, you'll go from one side to the other so you don't have any brush strokes. And you'll just kind of do that number. We'll let it sit for a second. I'll go ahead and start with this piece here. Put these over here so you can see. Like I said, we'll come back through and bring the brush all the way across. Now I'm not going to sand between the first 2 coats, because what I noticed before was I was cutting through and cutting into the stain, and I don't want to do that. So I think after the 2nd coat, then I'll start sanding through and maybe put 4 or 5 coats on, depending on how it looks. Maybe I won't need that many. That is going to look sharp. And thank you guys for watching along. I wish I had done this from the beginning. Some of you may be thinking, I'm not really interested in watching it, but those people probably aren't watching, so I'm not too worried about it. But if you're anything like me, I love watching these kind of videos that people do. That's why I started to make my own. It's just, especially when they're doing a project. The first one I watched, a guy was doing a motorcycle. I forget what the name of the YouTube channel was, but maybe I'll get it on the next episode. Maybe I'll put a link or something. But I love just going along with him as he was doing the project. I learned a lot, and just it was neat to watch. And so, you know, this whole project I've been doing, you know, I've had the boat for 9 months, and I've done quite a bit of work to it. And I wish I had documented it from the beginning. But I figured now's late, you know, better than never. So better late than never. That's what I was trying to say. So I appreciate you watching, and I hope as I go along, I'll get better at this video and hopefully make it more entertaining for you. And learn some stuff along the way. And I also need to get some kind of better camera set up. I have a nice phone. I got a Galaxy Note 3, which I love, but I don't have any kind of tripod or anything like that for it. What I have is one of those stands that you put in your car for holding like a GPS. I got one, and I have it stuck to the glass doors right now. So I'm just kind of floating in the doorway. The other day when I recorded, I used a ladder. It's kind of a redneck ingenuity showing through. But I love it. I love being able to take just about anything and make just about anything. Well, within reason. Very innovative. I know that comes partially from my dad, and probably partially from my mom too, because my uncles are very much the same way. Never been one, I guess, growing up a little bit poor. They've always had to do things themselves, and I've learned from that. Not being rich myself, I had to do that. But I love it. I love that I know how to work on cars, plumbing, electrical, more so cars than any of the other. But it saved me thousands and thousands of dollars. Probably tens of thousands of dollars through the years. And heck, This boat alone, I wouldn't be able to do it if I didn't know how to do this stuff myself. It would cost a fortune. I was considering doing the floor. The floor is teak, the deck, where the helm is, where you drive it from, and the back deck is all teak, and some of it's damaged, needs to be replaced. I was going to redo the whole floor until I found out how much it cost. They wanted $3 a foot for a piece probably about that big. So you get long strips, and it would cost maybe a couple $1,000s just to do my deck, which I guess isn't too terribly bad, but I don't have a couple $1,000s to throw at the floor. There's a lot more things I want to do to it, and until it starts making its own money fishing, I'm going to be careful with the spin on it. Mainly because I don't have a lot to spend on it. And secondly, because I love doing this stuff. I love that, you know, when this is said and done, when that boat is, you know, I envision it, what it's going to look like right now. Even before I got it, I was dreaming about what I was going to do to it and all that kind of stuff. It's the way my mind works. And in this wood, especially if you remember from the beginning in the first episode, or the last couple of episodes, the wood looked really rough, and I had refinished it, but I had put oil on it, and the oil just didn't last. I realized I was going to have to put some urethane on it, but in the process, the sun, after I put the urethane on, it looked beautiful. It looked almost like this. But then the sun had got to it, and the weather got to it, and it looked worse than when I began. So I had to sand it all back down. Saw me do that. Stained it all to try to make it all the same color. And now we're urethaning it. And I have to say, it's looking sharp. It's looking good. I like it. I hope you guys can kind of see what we're working with here. Nice little sheen. High gloss. I don't want to pick it up anymore because I'm going to get stuff in my hands, but that's going to be it for this episode. Put a couple more coats on and then we'll show you the finished product.